Most of that time, I honestly thought we had a good marriage. I'm not saying it was perfect, but I work hard, provide a comfortable life, and try to be attentive. We don't live like millionaires, but I make enough to cover bills, savings, and the occasional trip. I never really thought she was the type who'd cross certain lines. Sure, she was flirty at times, witty, and liked attention, but I figured it was harmless. That was my mistake. This whole mess started a few months ago when we went on vacation with some friends. It was a beach resort type of place, pools, cabanas, cocktails, the works. I was looking forward to it because I thought it would be a nice reset, some time for us to just enjoy the sun, drink fruity drinks, and forget about work. The first couple of days were fine. Then, that day happened. We were all hanging out by the pool. There was music, people lounging, and a few of us guys were grilling burgers while the women chatted nearby. One of the resort staff, a tall, younger guy who worked as a pool attendant, walked by to clean some chairs. He had that gym rat build, tall, tan, the kind of guy you see in ads for sunscreen. Honestly, I didn't think twice about it until my wife opened her mouth. She looked right at him, then looked at our group of friends, laughed, and said, "I'd gladly trade my husband for him." She said it like a joke, but not the kind of joke where you laugh along, the kind where the whole group freezes, tries to pretend they didn't hear it, then forces an awkward chuckle to fill the silence. I swear I felt my stomach drop. Everyone went quiet for a beat too long, and then there was this fake laughter that made it worse. The pool boy looked shocked and muttered something like, thanks, before walking off quickly. I wanted the ground to swallow me whole. I tried to play it cool, kept flipping burgers like nothing happened, but inside, something broke. It wasn't just what she said, it was how easily she said it, like I was disposable, like my worth as her husband could be measured against a tan guy with a six-pack. On the way back to our room later, I confronted her. "Why would you say that? Do you realize how humiliating that was?" She rolled her eyes, waved her hand like I was being ridiculous, and said, "Oh, come on, it was a joke. Everyone knew I was kidding. Don't be so sensitive." That word, sensitive, hit me like a slap. Because in her mind, my hurt was the problem, not her disrespect. I didn't argue further. I just went quiet. But that night, lying in bed while she scrolled on her phone, I replayed every moment of our marriage that now felt different in hindsight. The red flags I ignored started coming back. The way she used to make comments about real men being taller or more assertive. How she sometimes compared me to guys in movies or at the gym. How she once half-joked that if I ever lost my job, she'd need to upgrade. I'd laughed along then, convincing myself it was harmless teasing. Now I realized it wasn't harmless at all. It was a pattern, a mindset. And that poolside comment wasn't an accident. It was who she really was when the mask slipped. Something shifted inside me that night. I didn't yell, I didn't beg her to respect me. Instead, I let her think she'd won, that I was just the sensitive husband who needed to lighten up. But deep down, I knew the truth. She didn't respect me. And once respect is gone, love doesn't mean much. I decided right then that I wasn't going to fight for her attention anymore. I wasn't going to keep proving myself to a woman who thought I was worth less than a pool boy. She laughed that night, but she had no idea the man she mocked was about to become the one holding all the cards. Update 1. Hey everyone, back with an update. A lot has happened since my last post, and honestly, things escalated in ways I didn't fully expect. But I promised I'd come back, so here it is. After the pool incident, I thought maybe my wife would realize she'd crossed a line. Maybe she'd reflect on how much she humiliated me and back off with the jokes. Instead, she doubled down. Over the next couple of weeks, she kept making little digs. If we were out and she saw a guy taller than me, she'd smirk and say something like, "See, honey, that's what I'm talking about, real height." Or she'd show me some influencer online and say, "Now that's husband material." Always with a laugh, always with the "just kidding" excuse if I called her on it. But the thing is, our friends noticed. One night, when she went to the bathroom during a dinner party, one of my buddies leaned over and said quietly, "Man, I don't know how you put up with that. It's brutal watching her tear you down like that." That hit me harder than anything because it confirmed I wasn't crazy. Other people could see it too. I decided I wasn't going to blow up. I wasn't going to yell or beg. I was going to let her think she was untouchable while I quietly started pulling strings. The first step? Me. I signed up at a new gym near my office, started going 5 days a week, lifting, running, focusing on myself. At first, she rolled her eyes when I got home sweaty and sore, saying things like midlife crisis much, but I didn't care. I wasn't doing it for her. I was doing it because I needed to remember who I was. Then work took an interesting turn. I work in operations management for a hospitality company, and wouldn't you know it, about 2 months after the pool incident, I was put in charge of overseeing a new contract. Guess who the client was? That same resort chain where the infamous pool boy worked. It felt like fate handing me a card. When I went to one of the properties for a meeting, I actually ran into him. He recognized me immediately and looked a little nervous, probably remembering the awkward scene. But I shook his hand, introduced myself properly, and thanked him for handling that situation gracefully. He looked surprised but smiled and said, "Honestly, I felt bad for you, man. That wasn't cool of her." Hearing that from a stranger hit me harder than I expected. Even this kid, who didn't know me at all, could see the disrespect. From then on, he and I were cordial whenever our paths crossed. Nothing huge, but enough that it made the contrast between him and my wife even clearer. Meanwhile, I kept leveling up. I updated my wardrobe, started taking better care of myself, and at work I was killing it. My bosses noticed, clients noticed, even friends started saying, "Man, you look great. What's your secret?" But my wife? She didn't notice. Or maybe she did and didn't want to admit it. Instead, she got bolder with her little jokes. The real turning point came at another gathering with mutual friends. She thought she was being funny and brought up the pool incident again, saying something like, "Careful, don't let me see any pool boys tonight or I might make a trade." This time, nobody laughed. Instead of awkward chuckles, there was just silence and a couple of people exchanging uncomfortable looks. I didn't even need to respond. The lack of laughter spoke louder than anything. That night, I didn't argue with her. I didn't bring it up at all. Instead, I started creating distance. I stayed later at work, spent more time at the gym, went out without her. When she asked why I was being so cold, I just shrugged and said, "Busy with work." The truth? I was already planning my exit. Then came the night of the event that sealed it. My company hosted a networking mixer at one of the resorts, and I invited her along because it would have looked strange not to. Guess who else was working the event? Yep, the pool boy. My wife spotted him immediately and smirked at me like she was about to make some big joke. Later in the evening, she actually walked over to where he was serving drinks and started flirting in front of a small group. She made some loud comment like, "See, honey, this is the upgrade I was talking about." Everyone froze. You could practically feel the secondhand embarrassment radiating off people. The pool boy looked mortified and didn't respond. I just smiled calmly, looked her dead in the eye, and said, "Careful, you might need him more than me soon." I said it low and cool, but loud enough for people around us to hear. Then I excused myself and went to talk to a client, leaving her standing there with her mouth open. The shift in the room was instant. People weren't laughing with her anymore. They were looking at her like she was pathetic. And for the first time, I think she realized she wasn't the one in control of this narrative. Since then, she's been acting weird. Suddenly, she's texting me more, asking if I want to do date nights, trying to be affectionate. But it feels fake, like she's trying to reel me back in because she senses something's off. She has no idea that I've already had a consultation with a lawyer. No idea that I've moved half of our savings into a separate account. No idea that the man she mocked in front of everyone is the same man who is quietly preparing to walk away and leave her standing in the mess she created. For now, I'm playing it cool. She thinks I'm busy with work, but in reality, I'm busy building my freedom. And the best part? She has no clue what's coming. Final update. Hey Reddit, back with the last update. Buckle up because it's finally done. After my last post, I kept my cool. My wife thought everything was fine because I wasn't blowing up at her. She thought my distance was just stress from work. Meanwhile, I was quietly putting the finishing touches on my exit plan. I met with my lawyer, got all my financial ducks in a row, and started moving things into place. When everything was ready, I did something I never thought I'd have the strength to do. I served her divorce papers. The look on her face when the envelope landed in her hands, priceless. First, shock, then denial, then anger. She came storming into the living room, waving the papers like I'd just committed treason. Are you serious? Over a joke? You're ending our marriage over a joke? I stayed calm. I told her it wasn't just a joke. It was years of little digs, comments, and humiliations that all came to a head that day by the pool. I told her respect is the foundation of a marriage, and once that's gone, there's nothing left. She tried to spin it. You're being dramatic. Everyone knew I was kidding. But here's the thing. Everyone didn't think it was a joke. They all saw how she treated me. They all told me privately how messed up it was. She wanted to laugh at me in public, and now she had to face the consequences in public too. I moved out within a week. I made sure everything was clean, legal, and above board. She tried love bombing me at first, cooking dinners, sending flirty texts, even wearing lingerie like that would erase the years of disrespect. I didn't fall for it. When she realized I was serious, she panicked. She begged, cried, said she'd change. She even threw the "we've built a life together" card at me. But the truth is, the life we built was one-sided. I carried it while she chipped away at me with insults disguised as humor. Word got around quickly. Friends, family, even casual acquaintances knew about the pool incident and her constant digs. And here's the kicker: nobody defended her. Not one person. Her own sister told her, "Honestly, you did this to yourself." The pool boy even apologized to me. He pulled me aside one day when I was at the resort for work and said, "I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to be part of any of that. I felt bad for you." Imagine that. The guy she wanted to trade me for had more respect for me than she did. That's when it really hit her. She hadn't just lost her husband. She'd lost her dignity. The divorce process was smoother than I expected, mostly because she realized she didn't have much leverage. She tried to fight for the house, but my lawyer shut that down fast. In the end, I kept the house, my retirement savings, and most of our shared assets. She got a car, some furniture, and a rude awakening. The karma was poetic. The tall guy she thought was worth trading me for, He never gave her the time of day. He wasn't interested. To him, she was just another entitled guest making his job harder. Meanwhile, she's now renting a small apartment and scrambling to keep up her lifestyle without my income supporting it. Me, I've never felt better. I'm fitter than I've been in years. Work is going great. I've reconnected with old friends who actually respect me. And yes, I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but the women I've met so far treat me better in a month than my wife did in years. The last time I saw her was at a mutual friend's barbecue. She looked smaller somehow, not physically, but in spirit. She tried to crack a joke at my expense again, but this time, nobody laughed. Instead, one of our friends shot back, "Maybe you should sit this one out, Claire." She went quiet after that. And me, I just smiled, because I finally realized I wasn't the butt of the joke anymore. She was. Looking back, that day by the pool felt like the worst humiliation of my life. But now I see it as the best wake-up call I ever got. It forced me to confront the truth about my marriage and gave me the push I needed to take my life back. She wanted to trade me for a pool boy. Instead, I traded her for a life where I'm respected, valued, and free.